Uh, Hello, and welcome back to the continuing lecture in corporate finance. And our topic is uh, taxation or tax computation, right? Now, in our previous lecture, which was the first video in tax computation, um, we basically set up the uh, parameters, set up the given inputs, right? Parameters for uh, this personal income tax computation example, and uh, and we left off where we found, after we found our uh, taxable income for this household uh, with three people. But the income earners are both the husband and wife, or the two partners, spouses, and their combined gross income was this 108,000, and their taxable after deductions and exemptions, taxable income came to 80,400, right? Now, and given that number, right, now we need to basically look into the tax bracket, because tax bracket is basically, the range of incomes that are subject to certain tax rates. And you might think, oh, because their taxable income is 80,400, that's into this bracket, so they must be paying 22% of 80,000. No, 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 no. That's not how it works. They don't pay 22% of 80K. They go through every bracket. They go through every tax rate for each bracket as far as it applies to them. So you might get startled. What? I pay more than 22? No, no, no. Actually, you pay much less than 22%. Why? So for this income, right, for this taxable income, right, the first layer or the first bracket of income, of course, because it's 80K, they have income that falls into, they have first layer or bracket of income that falls into this range. So for their first $19,000, they pay 10%. And even after paying 10% for the first $19,000, they still have income going on. So for the beyond 19,000, and there is a portion of their income that falls in this range, right? In this, and so out of their 80,000, but since they already paid 10% for this 19,000, so the difference will be they don't have to pay anymore 10% for the first bracket, right? Now their second bracket would be then for the portion between this and this, which would be roughly about $50,000, right? For $50,000, they will be paying 12%, right? So their second layer or second bracket is done. Now then, because their taxable income is greater than this, there will be still a portion left over, which is, the difference between the two is that's about 23K, right? That 23K will fall into this bracket, right? So then the 23K will be subject to this 22%. So you pay 22% for that 23K, you pay 12% for that 50K, you pay 10% for that 19K. Okay, so you might think, oh, that's not that difficult. That's easy. Yes, it's easy if you if you're if you're doing it with pencil and paper. But then that means you can't, if your income is different or for different people, you cannot reapply any systematic or methodical model. I mean, you'll have to do it one by one, all by hand, right? And you would understand, oh, we have, that's why we use, a TurboTax or something like some tax pro. Yes, in other words, programming. If you can program it, right? So that no matter what your scenario is, no matter what your income is, it can automatically, you don't have to put in, you don't have to do calculation bracket by bracket. You just enter your parameters. You have your gross income, input data. You just, a savings, these things. And the rest of it should be taken care of, calculation of gross income, taxable income, all of these things must be automatically um, calculated by the program. Yeah, that's the point. We want Excel to do that, right? Instead of you actually, calculating each case one by one, we want to provide, we just provide the logic, which is the program, right? Command, right? We just provide the logic to Excel, and then Excel should automatically calculate that. So what kind of logic do we put into Excel? Now, before we do that, let me just briefly look into tax bracket. This is actually, I'm using 2018 income tax bracket because this is the latest income tax bracket, right? Um, what Donald Trump always wants to flaunt as, Trump tax bracket. Actually, this is not better, no matter. He's always saying, pay, with his tax bracket, everyone is paying less. Actually, no. And tax return, in terms of, you may be, there may be less tax withholding, right, from your paycheck, but that also means, slightly less, but that also means, you get less tax return. And you might say, on the balance, if you pay more taxes and get more return, or less taxes and get less tax return, what's the difference? Uh, for low income earners, there isn't that much difference. But for a very wealthy people, there is a huge difference. There's for very wealthy people, because if you look at, and then, so there are 7 brackets, in 2018, and I think the last tax bracket revision was in 2013, but I'm not sure. I have to, but prior to that, it used to be 2006 income tax bracket was the what we used to use. But in 2006 bracket, there are 7 brackets, right? And then Anyone making, above 336K were paying, um, uh, if you're married and filing taxes jointly, right? Anyone making, individuals. This is individual schedule, right? Individual filing, as a single, right, person. Now, anyone making above, 336K was subject to 35% tax bracket. But now, um, and how many people are making more than 336? Actually, um, uh, presidents, every congressman, senators, their salary. This is, you might, uh, you might say, they are, leeching off people. No, 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 no. Of course, some obviously some politicians are really leeching off, people, uh, but they deserve, they work hard, uh, senators like, Bernie Sanders, Warren, Elizabeth Warren are really, really, working hard to uh, uh, enhance the rights and benefits of the working people, whereas uh, Donald Trump and whoever is on the other side, uh, Donald Trump's side, GOP, uh, are actually trying to pass on all the benefits to top 1%. Now, so think about it. Who makes and so senators, of course, they have pay level, like, freshmen, senators, congressmen, they would be making less, but, generally senior level congressmen, senators would be making about 400,000. And the salary of annual salary of the president is about also 450,000 or something like that, I believe. Last time I checked. And when Donald Trump said he wouldn't get any, or he will get $1, or he's already rich, so he's not going to take any paycheck. I don't think he's living up to his, promise, right? It's trying to. It's called kleptocracy. What's a kleptocracy? It's thievery, thief, right? The politicians who are thieving, stealing from people, stealing. So a lot of this, current administration, the way, the presidency, current presidency is um, can be, called kleptocratic. Now, the word kleptomania. What's a kleptomaniac? Kleptomaniac is someone who has this, psychological, mental urge to steal. Not because he or she needs it, but, they can't resist that urge. They have money to pay for it, but, instead of they just, and they don't need it, but they just steal because it's, and they all want to say, I'm not, and the court finds them not guilty. Why? Oh, they have that, mental problem, so they send them to the, psychiatrist. This is the problem with this country. If you are a responsible adult claiming your rights as citizen, then you should also live up to the duties of the citizen, a good law-abiding citizen. And if you have such a mental, they always say, it's not me, it's the voice in my head. Don't don't be stupid. You're not a child. If there's a voice in your head, you gotta suppress it. That's what an adult is supposed to do. And if you're saying, oh, voice in my head, I would say, I would rather say, go die, drop dead, if you cannot suppress such a voice in your head. If you always blame it on something else but yourself, then you kill someone and you will say, it's not me, it's the voice in my head. So this is the problem with this society. Nobody is held accountable. They always say it's something else. They blame it on something else. You do poorly on the exam, you get, and then you don't blame it. You don't take the blame to yourself. Huh? That's irresponsible, simply, right? A responsible grown-up, knows how to take the responsibility. Okay, I was, um, carried away a little. Excuse me for that. Now, what is the logic then that would, now think about it. In this case, we know, since our income is this, taxable income is this, then we know we go through these, 3 brackets. And we pay, for the first layer, we pay 10%. Second layer, we, for, like 50K, paid. But, this is you doing that, right? But what kind of logic would, make Excel automatically do that? So let's think about it. What if your income was 18K? Then if your income is 18K, it falls into only the first bracket, right? So then you don't even go to the second bracket. All you need to do is 18, because it's below 19K, it's just 18K times 10%. And then there's nothing more to do. And you should give logic to Excel to see if it is greater than this. And if it is greater, then what would you do? You will, if it is greater, in other words, if it is, like 25K, oops, if it is 25K, then you will need to tell Excel to split it, right? If it is greater than 25, this upper bound, then first you will pay whatever is the you will tell Excel to multiply 10% to this, and whatever is the difference, then take the difference and multiply it by 12%. You got to tell that to Excel so that Excel would make comparison. And also, your logic should also handle the case where it is less than 19K, like 18K. But if it is not, that means that's if it is not greater than 19K, this upper bound, then you take the lesser, right? You take the minimum between the two, this and 18K. You take the minimum between the two and just apply this. Okay, and if it is greater than that, right, then first apply the maximum of this, and then multiply this, and then make the difference, take the difference, and the difference will be multiplied by this. And if you do that, and you can, apply repeatedly the same logic over and over. So here's what I did, actually. Let's take a look at this. Now I put, income tax bracket for comparison purpose, between 2006 and 2018, and So here, what I did was, let's take a look at this example. If B17, right, B17 is, of course, our taxable income. If it is greater than D20, which is the upper bound for the first layer, first bracket, then we apply 10%, right, which is A20, to the minimum of B17 and D20. Now, think about it. If B17 is less than if B17 is less than D20, then it will multiply 10% to B17, but that's not going to happen. We know it's not going to happen. Why? Because the condition is if B17 is greater than D20, then do this. And if B7, only if B17 is not like this, if B17 is less than D20, then B17 will be applied. But it says minimum, if this is greater than this, then if this is greater than this, and in this, which is the case now, then the lesser of the two, right, which is, obviously then D20 will be picked, right, because that's the lesser of the two. Minimum of the two will be multiplied by A20, right? Now, from the previous topic, right, from financial statements, right, we introduced already the if command, right? So the if command will, the structure of the if command. If this condition is met, comma means then do this, right? Second comma means otherwise do something else, right? So this condition is met now, so it will execute this, not the other thing, right? Not the other scenario, right? So it will multiply the upper bound and then 10%, right? Otherwise means, if that's not the case, then simply multiply 10% to B17. But this is not going to happen, right? Because B17 is greater than D20. This condition is already met, so this is not going to happen. Excel will not pick this, Excel will pick this, because Excel compares these two, and therefore hit enter, right? And then, 10% is 10% of this, right? Automatically. And then we apply the same logic to the next bracket. So I simply dragged it down, and you can keep dragging it down, and it will automatically execute. So here, then the same logic applies. If this is still greater than D20, right, which is this, then that should be D21. Right, write it down. It should be like, so, oops, something's not right. Yeah, everything is done correctly. Um, uh, so in the next bracket, we need to check. I mean, the same logic will apply. If B17 is greater than uh, D21, we will need to check, right? And Excel will execute, it will compare if this is greater than this. And if it is, then apply this rate to the minimum, the lesser of the two. This and lesser of the two is this. So D21 will be picked. And then not, the lesser minimum will be picked. And what we need to pay is, the portion that should pay 12% is the difference between the two. In other words, about the 50K portion, right? So the minimum between the two will be picked, and it will take the difference between the minimum of the two values and the difference, right? And then it will be applied 12%, right? And then otherwise, second comma is otherwise, right? Then that means this is not, that means, our taxable income is not greater than this, then something like, 25K. If that is the case, then you take the difference between B17. I forgot to put, you should lock it, because if you don't lock it, as you drag it down, it's going to also change. It's going to also successively change. So you lock it, and then by hitting F4, and then you take the difference between whatever it is and D20. So if it is like 25K, then the difference between 25K and this, that will be about $4,000. Only $4,000 will be subject to 12%. And we're gonna keep going like that, right? And then you will see. Now, but then here's the thing. If you keep going, and I deliberately deleted 37% bracket, because it's pointless. We are not paying any more, than 22% bracket most of the time. Oh. So now, and then if we keep from this, we're not subject to paying any taxes. But let's see. Now from here, something's gotta. You might wonder. Oh, you know what? From here, I gotta put. So this is not. I gotta put 0 here. Why? Think about it. You don't have income in this bracket, so from here, but by copying this formula, it automatically put whatever it calculated, whatever is in this bracket, which is then it comes to negative. But think about it. You don't. Is there a negative tax? What does that mean? Negative tax is like IRS is paying you. If you don't have income, you don't just pay taxes. Huh? If IRA pays you for lack of income, then nobody will work, right? In other words, if there is no income to pay, tax to pay, then it's 0. You don't get negative. So from here, I will have to adjust. So this cannot be known a priori. after you run this program, and whenever you find, wherever you find negative, then you'll have to make that zero, because it cannot be negative, right? Of course, uh, if you think about it, uh, why didn't I build a program that would also handle the negative case? There was a limitation, in if command to uh, handle like three scenarios, because um, if command can handle only two scenarios. If this is greater than this, do this, or do that. But you cannot do this, do that, or do another. Cannot do that, right? So there was a limitation. Next, uh, then the next thing is our dividend is subject to uh, previously, dividend income was, capital gains income was all subject to 15%, but it is uh, after 2018, it is 12%, subject to 12%. This is the reason why I'm telling you, wealthy people, really, really wealthy people, right? Jeff Bezos, right? Jeff Bezos, Warren Buffett, um, Bill Gates. What kind of income? I mean, what's their income? I mean, do they have earned income? Do they earned income means labor income? Um, do they labor? I mean, do they work um, to earn salary? No, they don't. Their income is uh, most of their income is not labor income. Their uh, income is mostly investment income. Investment income, right? It's all dividends, interest payments and dividends. So that's why Warren Buffett once famously said that his secretary is paying more taxes than he does. And what does that mean? That doesn't mean his secretary is making more money. Of course, his secretary would be making, Warren Buffett's secretary would be making like, six-digit figures, like, $100,000. But even if the secretary is making $100,000, it's earned income. So the secretary will be subject to like at least up to 24% income bracket or 22% income bracket. But Warren Buffett's income is most all investment income, so he's paying at 12%, while his secretary is paying going through 10%, 12%, 22%, 24%. Make sense? So at least Warren Buffett and Bill Gates are honest people. They know that the tax system is favoring the wealthy, and they admit it. That, and Bill Gates has always said, he's willing to pay more taxes. He should be paying more taxes. There are honest and conscionable wealthy people who are willing to do their more, pay their more of, they pay more of their shares, they pay their fair shares actually. But other wealthy, not all the wealthy people are like that. Jeff Bezos never ever, said he would be, he is, favorable of paying, uh, fair share of his taxes. Or Walton family of Walmart, never. Or, what's the brothers, oh, I forgot them, the Koch uh, brothers, or the Koch industry, Koch, um, who are staunch supporters of conservative politics. Koch brothers, wealthy, very wealthy people. They all want to pay uh, less, even if they are still paying like 12%. Including Donald Trump, that goes without saying, is a you know uh, one of the uh, you know typical kleptocrat. So then, since we have done all of our earned income, then about investment income, and here, of course, you can look at this and we'll pay because this. But what I'm but then again, what is the rule about the this dividend income? Remember, if you are the formal rule, I mean, until before 2018 income tax bracket, right? The dividend income, who paid 15% on dividend income were those people who are in above 25% marginal tax bracket, right? And if you are below 25% marginal tax bracket, then you pay you pay nothing. So here, I need to see if my income is my marginal income is falls into a 24% or 22%. And what is marginal income? Marginal income. I'll be back. So the marginal income is like incremental income. So meaning if you're making, so currently our income falls into this bracket, right? Our taxable income falls into this bracket. So if you're making one additional dollar, right? Incremental, right? Do I go into this bracket? No, we don't. It's still, until you make additional like, $80,000, right? We don't go into the next bracket, right? But if I'm near, let's say, currently our taxable income is almost here, 165,000. If I make one more dollar, then I will one more dollar will go into the next tax bracket of 24%. Right? Makes sense. So that is, the concept of marginal tax rate. In other words, if my marginal income goes into the next tax bracket, then my marginal rate is 24%. But if I make another dollar and if I'm still in this tax bracket, my marginal tax rate is still 22%. So we have to check our marginal tax rate is in the next bracket or still in the 22% bracket. And if you're above that, so in this case, so that's what I did. I sum all of this, right? And I wanted to finish up this in this video, but this video is running too long. So I think I will have to break it up here, because this is so awkward to not finish this. I think, to finish this, it will take another probably, 10-15 minutes, and so it would be, so I will have to cut it off here, and we'll talk further in the next video. All righty. I'll see you guys in the next video. Stop recording.